Lightwarp textures let you swap a model's shading, and today I'll teach you how to make these using a Blender prefab I made. But before I get to that, I'd like to give you a quick crash course on how these textures actually work. This is Cerberus, and this is the default Lightwarp. In a nutshell, this Lightwarp texture is the shadow gradient. The direction of the shadow is defined by the light environment entity of the map. The Lightwarp's top left pixel represents the darkest shadow on a model, while the bottom right is for the brightest lit spot. Lightwarps are read diagonally. I don't know why, but they are. The brightest color on the Lightwarp is usually always gray at 50% brightness. Anything brighter will light up the model more than the sun would allow. Kind of like Photoshop's overlay color blend mode, where dark colors shaded and bright colors lighted up. And now with that out of the way, let's make a Lightwarp texture. Check the video description for the link to download my prefab. Open the prefab and import your model with one of its textures. Swap the material to Lightwarp Builder. Down in the node editor is a texture node. You can load your texture through that. The top color ramp is the Lightwarp you would modify, and the bottom is a helper. If you reconnect the nodes, you'll see green being the darkest spot and pink being the brightest, just like in the intro. The outliner has a cube called Light Proxy. You can rotate that cube to change the Lightwarp's position. On the top color ramp, pressing the plus button adds another color stop to the left of the currently selected stop. The minus button deletes whatever stop you have currently selected. You can change the color of a stop by clicking on the stop and then clicking this box down below, which brings up a color wheel. Remember, any value brighter than 50% will light up the model, which you want to avoid. This is easy if you use the HSL color wheel. Just make sure the value slider is below 0.215861, because that's a nice round number. Modify the gradient as much as you want. Once you're happy, we can render it as an image. Click on the color ramp node and copy it with Ctrl-C. Select the render object and paste your node with Ctrl-V. Reconnect the pasted node just like the example is. Click on the texture node in the render material to select it. It has to be active, else the render will fail. As a little side note, the default Lightwarp is 256 by 16 pixels. You could make it twice as wide but half as tall, so 512 by 8, or even 1024 by 4. The file size would remain the same because it's the same pixel amount, but you'd get a little bit more detail. However, that's only useful if you have very narrow color transitions. I'll pick 512 by 8, then head over to the Render tab and press the Bake button. Select the image in the image editor, then click on Image and Save Image. Open VTF Edit and import the rendered image. Pick the format BGR888 and then enable the flags Clamp S and Clamp T. Save the texture with whatever name you want. And now you can use this with the Lightwarp texture command in the material. And that's about it. Now you know how Lightwarps work and how to make them. You know the rules, and so do I. Like the video if you learned something and subscribe if you want to learn more. Leave a comment about whatever guide you want me to do next. There is a link in the description through which you can support me further if you'd like to. If you need help with this or modding in general, join the Dead for Mods Discord server. There's channels dedicated to modding and mapping in which you can ask questions. I also have a private Discord server, but you're less likely to get support there. You can still hop in and, as per usual, immediately leave again. But now this video has been long enough as it is. See you guys next time. Take care. Bye.